Hey, everybody. Saturday morning here recording. And I'm not sure what time I'm going to be putting this out. I'm probably going to put it out next week. And this is the last series of doing music in 1971. And I'm excited to get to the last part. This is hopefully going to get as much interaction with you guys as some of the previous stuff. Although it's kind of on the far end of the genres that a lot more people listen to, so it doesn't have the mainstream popularity as some of the other stuff. So just to show what I've done so far, so I did a series on the folk in 1971 with John Prine, Comus, which was a new listen and insanely good. Leo Kottke, Bill Fay, and Joni Mitchell, and then I did a blues series, which was Bonnie Raitt, J.J. Cale, and Hound Dog Taylor. All of those three, which were debut albums. And then I also did the Rock Part 1 of 1971 with debuts also with Crazy Horse, David Bowie on his Hunky Dory, David Crosby's debut album, and George Harrison, Bangladesh. So I've done all those, and I've done three other parts, which I'll mention in the future, in the next video of the series. So basically we're going to jump into we've done jazz, we've done fusion, now we're going to go into, we got to step outside of the U.S. scene, so we're going to jump into and do our due diligence and jump into the world music. And we're basically going to go into some Latin. And I don't know, we're going to get right into it. And I'm going to do these as a full section. We've got 4 tunes. We're going to do world music 1971. And jump into the community section. We're going to do some full album listens, some of them out of the 1971 era. So a little bit of deeper dive and continuation into those. So we got some polls in the community tab. Please go in there and vote. I want to hear what everybody wants to listen to before I jump into that. So we got a Joni Mitchell listen, which is going to be a full album. Either Blue, For the Roses, Court and Spark, or Hejira. And then we've also got sort of a soul prog mix with Gil Scott-Heron, Funkadelic, Maggot Brain, War, All Day Music, and Mahavishnu Orchestra. So please vote on those for a full album listen. And then we got a mixture of kind of prog rock with Toad, Caravan, Gentle Giant, and kind of an offbeat one, but I decided I want to do the full album for that David Crosby full album listen. So please go into that and just, see what you guys, love to hear what you guys want to hear for a full album, because I'm definitely going to go into, I've only done a couple full albums so far, and I really want to get into more of those. And lastly, so last week, I hit 100 subscribers, and so excited to hear that. It's just just a shout out to all you people who enjoy listening to these tunes and listen to some new, some old. That's what I'm here for. I'm listening to some new stuff, and I want everybody else to, take the opportunity to listen to some new stuff and expand our horizons together. And that's what this episode is going to be primarily, probably, because I've heard some of these and I haven't heard others. So hopefully you guys take the time to listen. And, I've been getting more comments, so I read every comment, and I love to hear it. That's what I'm here for. So anyway, it's all towards, put past what I've done, do some new stuff, go look toward the future. And it's going to be full album listens. Hopefully you guys more interaction with what you want to hear, some deeper dives. And I would say lastly, the last thing, I'll get into what I'm going to do for the next few videos in the future, more expansive. So without further ado, let's get into the first 1971 world music. And let's jump into one that I haven't heard yet. Let's see. This one I've heard very, very, very sparsely. I think I heard it. I don't think I've heard the whole album, but I've definitely listened to a couple tunes off this probably a decade ago. And this is one, I really need to revisit. So I looked up back on it, and it fit in with this 1971. So I realized this deserves to be on the list. Let's jump right into it. We're going to do the first one off 1971 world music, and I'll go into some of the I'll just say who's going to be playing on this. So this is going to be Harlem River Drive. And there was a couple tunes on here. It was hard to pick this one, so I'm kind of doing the shorter one. There's another tune on here which was really great lyrically. It had a very profound, mixture of the music and the lyrics. So just so everybody knows what we got a long list of great musicians here. Some of them we've heard of before. Yeah, Eddie Palmieri on piano, Charlie, his brother Palmieri, on organ, Bob Mann on lead guitar, Cornell Dupree, rhythm guitar. I've heard of him. Victor Venegas on bass, Andy Gonzalez, Fender bass, Bernard Purdy on drums. You've known him. He's been all over the place. Ronnie Cuber on saxophone. Yeah, I've heard his name before on some of George Benson's tunes. Randy Brecker on trumpet, Jimmy Norman on vocals, Manny Oquendo on timbales, and Eladio Hersher on conga. So yeah, a lot of people. So this is going to sound really full. So yeah, let's jump into the first one, and here we go. Okay, it sounds like they're about to just vamp out for a while, but they're actually just over halfway through. So I got to pause it somewhere. I just want to talk up a little bit on some of the, it's fantastic Latin funk, insane Latin funk. And what stands out, obviously you hear the horns, and actually the vocals are something that I didn't probably spend as much time on as I'm going to do right now, just to give an idea of, I'm sure the times I've listened to this, it was really just, you're in the car or you're hearing it and you're just riding along, just feeling feeling really good about it and the energy and stuff that it has. But as I began, I was at lyrics. I was like, oh my God, what is he talking about? So just to give the first, it's basically about life. So a man plants a seed, a flower grows, blossom fragrance of a perfumed rose. Man plants a seed of love in his woman's soul. No, not does he of just what will grow. No, he can't be sure of what will harvest there. Will it be soft love or hard despair? Those are the seeds of life. Oh, yes, they are. So he goes on. I think he's already gone through all 3 verses already. So now it's just going to be sort of hitting that chorus and just riding it out. But yeah, fantastic lyrics. Goes into multiple, different sides of, life and the things that people put their energy into and what they get out of it. So awesome. And yeah, so far, as far as the instrumentation, yeah, I mean, everyone's super tight. I don't hear any, okay, I'm trying to hear, what did I hear in keyboards? I'm not sure. So far, really kind of just, everything's just feeding a sort of the machine of the Latin groove for the lyrics. So other than the guitar, just kind of going off a little bit there. I'm not sure. I think that was Bob Mann, lead guitar. Yeah. Piano and organ, Charlie, I'm not sure. They're in the background so far. I haven't heard them yet. The bass definitely stood out, Andy Gonzalez. The drums kind of in the background mixed up with the timbales and the conga. And yeah, the horns are really strong with Ronnie Kuber and Randy Brecker. Very force of nature on those. So yeah, I'm going to go into a little bit. Let's get into it. I'll go more into a little bit of background of the tune at the end, and then we'll jump into the next song. And yeah, I hope you're in a good place to hear this. Let's continue. I'll jump back another 10 seconds or so and hit it here. Yeah, think about it. How much was going on there? 5 minutes, and how much talent and practice and energy it took to give just 5 minutes, and then, just for everybody to feel that emotion. And so yeah, the last sounds like it's it's a little critique too. I mean, there's a positive and negative of those seeds of life and things that get planted, and who neglects those blossoms and who doesn't neglect them. So just to give the last verse, a man is planted after a life of grief in a lonely cemetery plot covered by one single wreath. Now all of his life he placed no one above. Now his woman cries for what dead man's done. Oh, what a waste of a man's life. Those are the seeds of life. So yeah, really cool. I love the lyrics. Very mindful and just sort of, looking into life of what men do and how they blossom and from their birth and their childhood from the mother and the father until how they transfer those seeds to life. Obviously, there's a symbolic element to that as well with the seeds of life. So cool. But that jam, to me it was all percussion and horns, just driving that. And it was only 2-chord change. Nothing to memorize as far as instrumentation or solos and stuff. It was like we're just gonna ride this one out. If you can grab on hold right in the very beginning, and then just feel it vibing off each other. And there's a little bit of jumping around and accentuating for the drums and the percussion in there too. But just a good vibe. I definitely got to listen to. There's a couple other songs on this, which are going to, I think there's very much a lyrical and philosophical side to this album also. So I believe this was, so anyway, to get into Palmieri, Harlem River Drive, created, by Eddie Palmieri. So first thing he said was, this was Eddie Palmieri's shot at the big leagues. Until that point, he had made safe Latin jazz records on Roulette subsidiary called Tico Records. On Roulette, he sought to cross over to a mainstream audience by fusing his brand of Puerto Rican salsa with the politically heated soul and funk of the day. And that became Harlem River Drive. So this was more than just, Latin records have been made since, late 40s, 50s, huge Latin waves going on, in early jazz, and the hybrid of people that were taking those rhythms and everything like that just goes across the board in, all types of jazz and fusion. So, and just to go back, this is something, for Palmieri and other musicians of that style, they said salsa is just a word coined in the 1970s to cover some of the most complex rhythms that have ever existed. The root is the Afro-Cuban Rhumba, which has 3 derivatives: the guaguanco, the yambu, and the columbia, each with its own spiritual meaning and its intricate dance steps. These gave birth to the bolero, the son montuno, the guaracha, and the guajira, which again have their own dance patterns. Put that all together with jazz harmonics, and then you get salsa, profound. So written in the heat of racial turbulence, its lyrics address the inequality Puerto Ricans faced in New York City. The album served as a form of protest as well as commentary on social justice issues for the people of El Barrio, East Harlem. Palmieri, as he said, so I must say the term salsa is a misnomer. The best quote on that comes from Tuido Puente. He said, "Salsa is what I put on my spaghetti, baby. The reason I put that out is because these rhythmical patterns have their proper names. They all come from Mother Rhumba, and there's a lot of judgment placed on the word Rhumba. It becomes synonymous with lower class people and women of the night. Yet this is the music that set the world dancing. Though through their suffering, they brought happiness to the world, which is quite extraordinary." So it started with the lyrics written by Calvin Cash, who was a friend of Palmieri. He said, "I've been wanting to record a crossover album," and Ronnie Cuber, who was working in Aretha Franklin's band, connected me with all these R&B musicians like Cornell Dupree and Bernard Purdie. And as I said, the album came out on the Roulette label, and he asked the owner, Morris Levy, to release the album on Roulette, and Roulette had put out a lot of hits by artists like Tommy James and the Shondells, and he wanted it to be a crossover, but it turned out the album's biggest fans were the Weathermen, the political group who were rebelling against the government. They embraced it when they heard the lyrics on numbers like Idle Hands, which are still relevant now and will be forever. And that's another one of the tunes that I listened to that I was thinking about doing, but I wanted to do something just because of the mixture of stuff I'm doing today to be a little bit more upbeat. But I will be doing I'll do an album listen and look for it in the future. I may do something more with them. And the next thing we know, the FBI and CIA are knocking on Morris Levy's door asking about the album. Morris called me and said, "Mr. Palmieri, don't record that shit anymore." And that was the second time I attracted the attention of the FBI. The first time was for my album Mambo con Conga is Mozambique. It was about the first Cubans coming over to U.S., and I was accused of being a communist. So Well, Calvin Clash was locked up in Sing Sing at the time, so we would go there to visit him. I remember before we started playing that show, the A&R man from Tico Joe Kane, who was an Italian guy, came up to me and said, 80% of the audience out there are black. I said, Joe, open the curtain, and we blew the place apart. And if you listen to that Palmieri at Sing Sing, they've got, there's a couple tunes on there that are just freaking, just off the charts energy. And you will definitely hear a lot of Eddie Palmieri and Charlie Palmieri and organ and piano are like amazing on that. And I will likely do on some live performances. I'll probably do a medley of some just fantastic live performances from different genres. And the only thing with that one, it's fantastic. I wish it was recorded a little bit better, just because you could really separate. I'd like to be able to separate some of the instruments, because there's a little bit, you hear it kind of probably it's like recorded kind of mixed, all together as one. And so some of the instruments, they kind of get, the way they're mixed together, they're not as clear as some other live recordings might be. And it would really be great to hear that, in a really quality, high quality version of that, if it was possible. So I don't know. But it'd be great to go back in the future and see if they could re-engineer that. And that would be interesting. I would definitely love to hear that. So anyway, that's Eddie Palmieri created this album, Harlem River Drive. Definitely of the time, 1971, his debut album, trying to do a crossover hit. And so that's that one. I'm going to continue on with this, but for the singles, I will appreciate everybody for being here. And as I said, we're going to do some future. I definitely want to get more into some of the other styles of music that are not, not mainstream, not pop rock. I'm going to get more into some of the other genres: jazz, fusion, world music, punk music, electronic music. So definitely if you name some different fusions, some different bands. And at this point, I'm going to be doing probably, want to do a mixture of 3 or 4 tunes, to really get invested in some of this stuff, whether it's full albums, medleys, all that stuff, just exploring different genres, different times, different periods. Do some segments of, top 5 this, top 10 that, some unheard stuff. So everything across the board, there's so much out there that I still want to explore and want to share with everybody else. So that's why you guys appreciate everybody being here. Again, hit 100 subscribers. I'm so excited for that, just for the fact that, not for this channel or for myself or anything, any ego-driven methods, but just to be able to communicate with more people and be able to get more stuff out there for people in whatever way I can. So appreciate everybody being here, and go forward to the next one. It's going to be more world music. Got 3 more to go, and after that, we're going to jump into a big thing. I'm not sure how. I've already done it all, so I've already done all the research, so we're going to jump into it, but it's going to really explore a mixture kind of into the prog rock, but specifically into the Canterbury scene, and we're going to be doing at least a dozen bands and some of the tunes, at least one tune off of their probably debuts I'm mostly going into, just to get the real origins feeling of that. So we're going to jump into the Canterbury scene and really do a deep dive into that. So if that's something you're looking forward to, we'll maybe do a poll on some Canterbury music on that for a full album listen for sure. So anyway, on to the next one. And thanks for being here, and I hope to see you next time.